The cold wind of November bit through the thin layers of her worn-out coat as Maya pulled her little boy closer. The city was alive with lights, laughter, and the scent of roasted chestnuts from the corner stalls, but for her, every sound was a reminder of what she'd lost. The sidewalk beneath her felt endless, her steps heavy, and her hope even heavier. She had nowhere to go tonight, nowhere safe to sleep. Her 5-year-old son, Liam, was shivering in her arms, whispering, "Mommy, I'm hungry." That single word cut through her like glass. Hunger. It was a pain she'd grown used to ignoring, but not when it came from him. She swallowed hard and kept walking, the city's glow blurring through tears she refused to let fall. Backhand index pointing right. If you believe in kindness, compassion, and second chances, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the Kindness Corner channel. Your support helps spread more stories that heal hearts. Once, she had a home filled with laughter, dreams, and warmth. Once, she had someone who made her feel seen. But life has a cruel way of changing directions when you least expect it. Maya had been in love with Daniel, the boy who used to bring her flowers from the school garden, who promised under the starlight that he'd always protect her. They were inseparable back then. But dreams have a way of collapsing under the weight of reality. After high school, he went off to study business in another city, and she stayed behind, taking care of her ailing mother. Their calls turned fewer, then faded into silence. She thought time would bring them back together, but instead, life brought hardship. Her mother's death, an abusive marriage, and then, being left alone with a child. Now, the world saw her only as a number in a shelter line, as another lost face under streetlights. Yet deep inside, she still carried the spark of the girl Daniel once loved, the one who believed love could fix everything. The night grew colder. She spotted a dimly lit sign across the street. Hope Street Community Soup Kitchen. Her heart pounded. Maybe, just maybe, they'd have food left. She gathered what courage she had and crossed the street, clutching Liam's tiny hand. Inside, the air smelled of soup and bread. The warmth was overwhelming, it almost made her knees give out. Volunteers moved quickly, serving steaming bowls with quiet smiles. Maya kept her head down, afraid of the pity in strangers' eyes. She whispered her name to the lady at the counter and waited. Liam's eyes lit up at the sight of bread. When the bowl was placed in front of him, he smiled, a small, tired smile that could still light her world. She watched him eat, tears threatening again. For the first time that day, he wasn't hungry. At a table near the corner, a man in a dark coat was talking to one of the volunteers. His presence seemed calm yet powerful. The staff spoke to him with respect, and he listened with warmth. He looked like someone who belonged to another world, a world far removed from pain. But when his eyes scanned the room, for a moment, they stopped on her. Something flickered there. Recognition. Confusion. Memory. Daniel hadn't expected to feel that old ache again. The soup kitchen had been his quiet project, a way to give back after his own battles with guilt and loss. He'd built it in his mother's honor, after losing her to illness. Every week, he came to see the people he helped, to remind himself why kindness mattered. But today, when he looked up and saw her, thin, tired, holding a small boy, it was as if time had stopped. Maya. The girl he once loved so deeply, the one who never left his thoughts no matter how much success he'd found. He blinked, unsure if his mind was playing tricks. She looked different, older, worn by life, but her eyes, those gentle brown eyes, were the same. He felt something twist inside him. What had happened to her? Why was she here? Maya didn't notice him. Her world had narrowed down to her son's smile and the bowl in front of them. When she finally looked up, their eyes met. A jolt ran through her chest. For a second, she thought she'd imagined him. That couldn't be Daniel. He looked so different. More mature, more confident, but with the same kindness she remembered. Her lips parted, but no words came out. Then, just as quickly, she looked away, pretending not to recognize him. She couldn't bear the shame. She didn't want him to see what she had become. Daniel's heart pounded. He could tell she was avoiding him. He wanted to go over, to ask, to offer help, but something held him back. He didn't want to embarrass her. He could see the pain in her shoulders, the way she tried to make herself invisible. So he quietly spoke to one of the volunteers and asked them to make sure she got a warm blanket and a small food pack for later. He watched from afar as the volunteer handed it over, and Maya's eyes filled with tears. She looked around to thank whoever had done it, but by then, Daniel had stepped away into the back office. That night, Maya and Liam slept in the corner of a nearby shelter, wrapped in that blanket. It was the first warmth she'd felt in weeks. She thought about that man at the kitchen. Could it really have been him? Her heart ached with memories, of laughter, of promises, of how he used to call her his reason to dream. But dreams felt so far away now. Days turned into weeks. Maya began visiting the soup kitchen regularly, helping wash dishes in return for food. The staff liked her. She was quiet, humble, and always smiling despite her circumstances. Liam played nearby with other children, his laughter echoing through the hall. The man in the dark coat came often, too. Sometimes he spoke to the volunteers, sometimes to the visitors, but he always found himself glancing toward her. He wanted to tell her the truth, that he was the owner, but he couldn't. He didn't want her to feel like a charity case. He wanted to know who she was now, not just rescue who she had been. One evening, the sky was heavy with rain. Maya arrived soaked, holding Liam close under her broken umbrella. Daniel saw her come in, her hair dripping, her lips trembling from the cold. Something inside him broke. He walked over this time. She froze when she saw him approach. "You look like you could use some dry clothes," he said softly. She nodded, unable to speak. His voice, gentle, familiar, made the years between them vanish. He handed her a towel, guided her to a seat near the heater, and made sure Liam was fed. As the night went on, they spoke in fragments, careful, fragile words. She told him she was just trying to get back on her feet, that she was doing her best for her son. She didn't say more, but Daniel could see it all in her eyes, the exhaustion, the strength, the unspoken pain. When she asked about him, he simply said he worked with the kitchen, helping manage things. He didn't lie, but he didn't tell her everything either. Not yet. After that, they began seeing each other more. He'd bring her coffee in the mornings, small gifts for Liam, a toy car, a pair of shoes that actually fit. She tried to refuse at first, but his kindness was persistent and genuine. Slowly, a new rhythm began to form. Maya started volunteering regularly, and Daniel helped her find part-time cleaning work through the kitchen's outreach program. Her confidence began to return, bit by bit. Sometimes, at night, she would watch Liam sleeping and whisper a silent thank you, to fate, to kindness, to whoever had brought Daniel back into her life. But she still didn't know who he truly was. One cold evening before Christmas, the kitchen hosted a community dinner for all the families they helped. The hall was glowing with candles and warmth. Maya wore a donated dress, simple but elegant. Daniel couldn't take his eyes off her. During the event, the head volunteer stood up to make an announcement. She thanked the staff, the donors, and finally said, "And, of course, our gratitude goes to the man who made all this possible, Mr. Daniel Hart, the owner and founder of Hope Street Kitchen." The room erupted in applause. Maya froze. The name echoed in her ears. Daniel Hart. Her heart stopped. Slowly, she turned toward him, her eyes wide with shock. He looked back, his expression gentle but uncertain, as if he didn't know whether she would be angry or grateful. She stood there for a long moment, her mind spinning. The man who had been quietly helping her, the man she thought was just another volunteer, he had owned the place all along. He had seen her at her lowest and never once made her feel small. Tears welled up in her eyes. She walked toward him, every step trembling with emotion. When she finally reached him, she whispered, "You knew. All this time, you knew." He nodded, his own eyes shining. "I just wanted to help you find your strength again," he said softly. "Not because I pity you, Maya, but because I never stopped caring." Something inside her broke open then, grief, love, relief, all at once. The crowd around them blurred as she hugged him, sobbing against his shoulder. Liam ran up, hugging them both, his small arms wrapping around the past and the present together. For the first time in years, she felt safe. She felt home. From that night on, Maya's life changed. Daniel helped her find an apartment near the kitchen, and soon she started managing one of the community programs. Together, they built something that wasn't just about feeding people, it was about restoring hope. The soup kitchen became a second home for others like her, and Maya's story inspired countless women to stand again, no matter how far they had fallen. Months later, as spring sunlight filtered through the windows, Maya stood outside the kitchen holding Liam's hand. She looked up at the sign, Hope Street, and smiled. She turned to Daniel beside her and said, "You didn't just feed us. You gave us our life back." He smiled, squeezing her hand. "You gave me mine too." Backhand index pointing right. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe to Kindness Corner. Every interaction helps us spread hope and kindness to more people around the world. Before you go, speech balloon comment below what part of Maya's journey moved you the most. Was it her strength, her faith, or the moment love found her again? Your words matter more than you know. As the camera fades on their silhouettes walking hand in hand toward the sunset, the message lingers softly. Sometimes, life takes everything from us, just to lead us back to what truly matters: love, kindness, and second chances.